Call the police!
I had saved $300,000 for my retirement. But for some reason, it vanished when my eldest son moved out. While my second son is arranging for the police, I contacted my eldest son. Then he yelled at me.
Stop it!
I was shocked, but I had already reported it to the police. My name is Susan. When I was young, I moved to New York City to work, and I had 2 sons. Both my sons are now 18 years old, and my husband passed away early. I've reached 60 and retired. I had saved $300,000 for my retirement, so I'm not too worried about living expenses. Still, it's time to think about my future living arrangements. During this time, my eldest son Robert, who had always lived in our parents' house, decided to move out. Robert's wife, Mary, had expressed her dissatisfaction to my eldest son, saying that she didn't want to take care of me in the past. I had expected this conversation someday. I have no desire to be looked after by my eldest son's wife. In fact, my eldest son's wife can't even cook or do household chores, so I've been doing it for both of them all along.
Have you found a place yet?
Not yet, but we plan to decide soon.
Let me know when the move is settled. Richard and the others say they will take me on a trip to celebrate my retirement soon.
Understood. I'm saving money now, and I'll leave once I have enough. I reported my eldest son's situation to my second son over the phone. My second son said, "In that case, how about installing security cameras? Without Robert around, you might be an easy target for burglars." That's true. I've heard on the news that seniors living alone are often targeted. Moreover, the trip I'm taking with my second son and his wife is a bit longer this time. I was certainly anxious about leaving the house empty for an extended period. I quickly purchased the security cameras that my second son had researched for me. They should arrive tomorrow. Little did I know, they would come in handy later. Sometime after hearing about my eldest son and his wife moving out, my eldest son's wife approached me about moving expenses. "Mother-in-law, could we borrow a little money for our moving expenses? I've actually been let go from my part-time job. Without some help, we won't have enough for the move." Fired from a part-time job. What on earth did you do?
Mother-in-law, please! Lend us the money!
Upon my eldest son's wife's desperate plea, I reluctantly agreed and gave her the money for moving and enough to live on for a while. "Make sure you pay it back." "Yes." She always responds well. But that's about it, I thought, criticizing my eldest son's wife inwardly, as I considered talking to my eldest son. A few days passed. My eldest son seemed uninterested in preparing for the move, so I asked him about it. Then, I came to know a shocking truth.
I lent the moving expenses to Mary the other day, so shouldn't you be able to move now?
Huh? I didn't know about that.
What?
I was shocked and opened my eyes wide. She said she'd pay it back after moving, didn't she? I don't know about that. How much did you lend her? About $3,000.
What? There's no way we can pay that back. I'm a temporary worker, you know.
But Mary said she needed the loan. I couldn't hide my surprise. Just then, my eldest son's wife came home. I hurried to the entrance and confronted her about what she had done with the moving money. "I'm sorry, I spent it." "But you have money, mother-in-law, so $3,000 isn't a big deal, right?"
That's not the point at all.
What on earth did you spend it on? Designer bags and new clothes. The new ones were so cute. But I can't spend money until I find a part-time job. Don't worry, I'll pay you back. As soon as I find part-time work. little by little. I was at a loss for words at my eldest son's wife's statement.
I've retired, so I need that money back. You understand that, don't you?
I understand, so quit nagging.
Is this what they call wife bullying?
I just want to leave this house as soon as possible. My eldest son's wife just kept saying whatever she wanted. I regretted lending her the money and wondered why I had done so. Today, my second son Richard was scheduled to come home. Richard has a 1-year-old child, and his wife, Beth, is a hard worker, currently on maternity leave. He had promised to take me on a trip next time, so we were planning to decide on the dates. Since my eldest son hadn't returned from his temp job yet, it was just me and my eldest son's wife at home.
Mary, Richard, and the others are coming today. Can you help me out?
Me? Huh? I can't cook or anything.
I just got my nails done the other day. Well, can you set the plates or do the shopping? Richard and the others are coming for lunch. You like Richard more than Robert, don't you, mother-in-law? That's not true. I just want to spend some quality time since it's been a while since we've seen them.
When I said that, my eldest son's wife had a clearly dissatisfied look on her face. I don't intend to favor one brother over the other, but since it's been a while since we've seen each other, it's natural to give a little preferential treatment. Although my eldest son's wife has some challenges in her personality, I have never compared her to Beth. Though that's the case, my eldest son's wife doesn't like my second son's wife and always takes a confrontational attitude. When my second son and his wife arrived at the house, my eldest son's wife stared at my second son's wife.
Wearing something plain again today? Can't you put a little effort into it? Especially in front of mother-in-law.
It's frustrating how she says things to elevate me, things she's never even thought of herself.
Don't worry about it, she's just in a bad mood.
I try to provide support with those words, but my second son's wife looks down, appearing apologetic. My second son's wife is always bullied by my eldest son's wife like this. I try my best to defend my second son's wife, but it seems my eldest son's wife doesn't like that either. When I return to the kitchen, I admonish my eldest son's wife.
Mary, can't you get along with Beth a little better? I do want to get along, but I just don't like that gloomy woman. Mother-in-law, please stop favoring her over me.
I don't intend to.
Is it because she has a grandchild?
I'm certainly happy about the grandchild, but that's not why I would favor her. My eldest son's wife glances at me and snorts dismissively. I wonder if she understands.
Why don't you let that woman help with this?
Beth has to take care of the child too.
I knew it. You favor her because she has a grandchild.
My eldest son's wife says this, starts to sulk, and begins to relax with a drink, refusing to help with anything. I wanted to say that she's not a child, but I held back and let my eldest son's wife have her way. After a while, I heard the sound of my eldest son's wife arguing with my second son and his wife. Rushing over, I found my eldest son's wife, drunk, trying to grab at my second son's wife. My second son was desperately trying to stop her.
What on earth are you doing? I just can't stand this woman. So what if she has a child? You think she's making fun of me?
Then, my second son's wife apologized, looking guilty.
I didn't realize that my sister-in-law was so bothered.
I showed pictures of Emma and...
You don't have to apologize. Mary's the one acting strangely. She suddenly got angry and tried to grab Beth.
Putting their stories together, it seemed that the origin of the matter was my eldest son's wife teasing my second son and his wife. The story was that the eldest son's wife, fueled by alcohol, had become furious when the second son's wife remained silent in response to her incomprehensible complaints.
What's wrong? I'm not in the wrong. I don't like this woman or my mother-in-law. I've decided to move out, and I feel relieved.
My eldest son's wife screamed, starting to throw any dishes or glasses within her reach. I quickly moved my second son's wife and grandson away from her, while my second son desperately tried to restrain his wife. Then, my eldest son came home and was stunned to see the disastrous state of the room. My second son and his wife had come to visit after a long time, and now this. Later, my eldest son took charge of his wife, and the situation temporarily calmed down. As we cleaned up the messy room, my second son's wife looked apologetic. There had been arguments since my second son and his wife came to the house, but the travel plans were safely arranged. My second son and his wife left with smiles on their faces, and just when I was feeling relieved, my eldest son called me into the living room. By the way, my eldest son's wife had become drunk and fallen asleep.
We've decided to move out earlier. We'll leave next weekend. What? Is money going to be okay? What about the house?
Mary said she'll handle it. I want to keep the moving costs down, so I'd like you and Richard to help us.
That's fine, but Richard left earlier. We'll have to contact him.
Can you reach out to him for me? It's hard for me to ask after what happened earlier.
I understand.
I agreed right away. Perhaps my eldest son's wife will feel a little more relaxed once she's away from this house. I had been thinking that maybe my eldest son's wife felt strange pressure because I was around. After the earlier dispute, I might not be able to see my eldest son and his wife, but I thought that if they could spend their time peacefully, it would be good. I called my second son and his wife, who had just returned home, and explained the situation. My second son and his wife agreed with my thoughts and gladly accepted to help with the move. And today was the day my eldest son and his wife were moving out. I watched the two of them leave and then returned to the living room. Actually, I was planning to go on a trip with my second son and his wife starting tomorrow.
Thank you. I hope the two of them can finally settle down.
It's all right. I really hope they can settle down. While my second son and his wife are taking a break with coffee and cookies, I return to my room and start preparing for the trip. If it's a trip, it will surely cost a lot of money. Thinking so, when I opened the chest with the banking card inside, I was stunned.
This is terrible.
As I rushed down to the living room, my second son and his wife looked at me, dumbfounded.
The savings. The banking card I was saving for our retirement is gone.
At my words, my second son and his wife's eyes widened in shock.
A thief? When did this happen? What should we do?
As I was panicking, my second son's wife hesitantly asked, "How much was in it?"
$300,000.
At my words, my second son and his wife were frozen.
Call the police. It must be a thief.
I yelled to my second son, and he hurriedly pulled out his mobile phone. Wait, what about my eldest son and his wife? They moved without knowing a thief had been in the house, so they might have trouble if something was missing. I called my eldest son.
Robert! A thief! A thief was in our house. We didn't notice at all, but please check carefully when you unpack to make sure nothing was stolen. Huh? What do you mean? My banking card is gone. There was $300,000 in it.
Surprised, my eldest son paused for a moment and then nervously uttered something to confirm.
$300,000. Is that true? Yes, I've been saving it for retirement since Dad passed away. We're contacting the police now.
As I desperately pleaded, my eldest son exclaimed, "What?" in an unusually loud voice.
Wait, hold on. No. That is.
As my eldest son panicked, my second son's wife turned the conversation to me.
I know you're talking, but doesn't this house have security cameras? In the rooms? That's right. There was one in that room too. Shall we check it?
Hearing this, I hurriedly pulled out the computer from the chest. I'm not familiar with the detailed use of a computer, but since using a mobile phone to view the security cameras was hard to remember, my second son gave me an old computer. I handed the computer to my second son's wife. After skillfully operating the computer, my second son's wife was shocked and speechless. I watched my second son's wife's reaction and, feeling suspicious, I peered into the screen, where I saw. At that moment, the voice of my eldest son, still on the line, echoed.
No. Don't call the police. Mary might get falsely suspected.
In shock and astonishment, I listened to my eldest son's desperate plea. 30 minutes later, my eldest son hurriedly drove back. Facing my eldest son and his wife, anger was slowly welling up inside me.
Did you already call them? It's just a little misunderstanding. Let me explain. Please don't involve the police. I'm sorry, I've already reported it. More importantly, can you explain what's going on?
As I said this, my eldest son looked apologetically at his wife, who ignored him without showing any sign of remorse. I felt anger towards my eldest son's wife.
I heard this was given to me. But more than that, if you call the police, Mary will get caught. I'll return this. Can't you forgive us?
My eldest son said this, handing me a banking card. It had already been used for moving expenses and apartment fees. This was what my eldest son's wife meant by somehow taking care of it. The security camera clearly showed my eldest son's wife taking the banking card from my chest.
This is my retirement money. Why did you take it without asking? I was treated horribly here. I thought I'd keep it as a compensation. I've never treated you badly. I never forced anything on you, and you had 3 proper meals a day, didn't you? What exactly are you unhappy about?
As I said this, my eldest son's wife's face turned red, and her eyes narrowed in anger.
I've suffered more mental distress than Beth. Being called to the house on purpose, it felt like I was being told to show my grandchild, and it was painful.
My eldest son's wife made such a delusional claim. I still couldn't forgive her.
Stealing someone's belongings is what a thief does. Do you understand that? I lived in this house too, so it's also mine. Calling me a thief is just cruel.
My eldest son's wife said this and began to cry. My eldest son begged me.
Please forgive her. I beg you, Mom.
Did they think I would forgive such a thing? I felt anger welling up even towards my irresponsible eldest son. Listening to the exchange between me and my eldest son's wife, my second son slammed the table and stood up.
You've been saying whatever you like all this time.
The second son glared at the eldest son's wife with an angry face.
After all Mom has done for you, how can you act like this? As far as I can see, Mom has always been good to Mary. And Robert, too, you should tell her when something's wrong. She's your wife, isn't she?
He shifted his angry gaze to the eldest son as well, who could only gulp and break into a cold sweat.
It can't be helped. I didn't know. It's not about not knowing. Why weren't you watching properly? Because Robert isn't responsible, she acts however she wants. Besides, this is Mom's house, not Mary's. It's unimaginable that she could just take whatever she likes.
The second son said this, pointing at the eldest son's wife. The eldest son's wife looked at the second son with a disgusted face.
What's your problem? I'm Mama's boy. I'm the one who's wrong. That's rude for a brother-in-law. Of course it's wrong. You've been complaining about Beth all this time. Why does my wife have to be criticized by someone like you? You don't know how much Beth has been troubled by this.
The second son's words seemed to have pressured the eldest son's wife, who looked away and hung her head. To calm the second son down, the second son's wife hastily speaks to him. The second son has cooled down a bit but still glared at the eldest son's wife. I'm sorry. It's true that I let Mary do whatever she wanted. And I had given up, thinking that even if I said something, it wouldn't be heeded. The eldest son said this, looking down.
Take my side.
The eldest son's wife demanded of the eldest son, but he just shook his head.
How cruel! I thought you would support me.
Just stop it. The fact is you did steal. When the eldest son said this, the eldest son's wife knocked a nearby vase off the table and turned away with an unhappy face. Suddenly, the police rushed in, looking alarmed. They must have been startled by the loud noise inside. They restrained the unruly eldest son's wife and turned to face us. I averted my eyes from the police, glancing quickly at the security camera. The police saw that and confirmed that the eldest son's wife had stolen the banking card before taking her into custody.
Robert, say something. Help me.
It's hopeless now.
Why would you say that?
You've been too selfish. I don't know why you did this. I can't defend you. The eldest son said this, looking away from his wife and hanging his head. Let's divorce. Upon hearing those words, the eldest son's wife stopped in shock, ceasing her resistance.
Wait, Robert? Are you sure?
I tried to warn her at first, but she never listened. She ignores me when things go wrong. And now this. I can't bear it anymore. I can't be her husband any longer. The eldest son was also in turmoil. I couldn't bring myself to blame the eldest son, knowing that. Perhaps it was because he was my son, even after all that had happened. The eldest son watched Mary being taken away by the police, then slumped down, disheartened. Later on, it was revealed that Mary had apparently committed marriage fraud as well. The eldest son found out and was once again shocked. Mary was told she couldn't escape a prison sentence. And so, the eldest son and his wife divorced. The eldest son's wife had to pay back the money from the marriage fraud and compensate the eldest son. The eldest son offered to take on some of the payment of the marriage fraud money. He said he wanted to settle things with himself, as he hadn't stopped his wife strongly enough. I went on a trip with my second son and his wife. Spending a long time with my young grandchildren was so much fun. Now, I am living with my eldest son again. He has a debt to pay off, so he's quitting his temp job and is working hard as a full-time employee, moving forward with determination. I'm happy to see my once unreliable eldest son growing little by little. My name is Riya Kumar. I'm 26 years old. And I work as a freelance digital illustrator. In order to save on rent, I'm currently living with my parents, which brings lots of issues. My family and I have had a strained relationship since I was young, and I often felt singled out. And our mother is strong, leaving me feeling as though I had no place within the family. Especially the alliance between my older sister, Becky. Becky is 2 years older than me, and my parents have always favored her. It seemed to me that I was nothing more than a nuisance in their eyes. "When are you going to move out?" they would ask.
"Why do I have to?"
"Because you're a nuisance." They would smirk and laugh at my discomfort.
"I'll move out eventually. I just need to get my work going a little better first."
"That's not our problem. You just can't cut it, can you?
All you do is sit at home all day, not even bothering to put on makeup or dress up. You've never even had a boyfriend. And to top it off, you're a freelancer? You're basically a loser in society."
The relentless verbal attacks ate away at my spirit.
"Being a freelancer means I can work at my own pace. There are plenty of good things about it."
"What are you even talking about?"
"All you do is hole up in your room all day, probably just playing video games."
They'd accuse, never giving me a chance to explain. Eventually, Becky would conspire with our mother, who was quick to join in.
"I agree, I don't really understand what she does for a living, and aside from meal times, she's just out of sight. She's really just a burden."
They would then complain about me right in front of my face. There was nobody in this house who would defend me.
"Do you understand now? This is how much you're worth to this family. We don't need someone who can't pull their weight."
"I'm sorry. But that's just the way it was." "That's true. I was the only failure in the Kumar family. My father is a surgeon at a prestigious university hospital. My mother used to be a nurse at the same hospital before she quit to become a full-time housewife upon getting married. Becky is a flight attendant for a domestic airline. Everyone in my family had high-profile careers. On the other hand, I was a self-proclaimed freelancer. Compared to everyone else in my family, I was leagues behind."
"Oh, I just had an idea, Mom. Let's go on a family trip to Yellowstone. My employee benefits allow me to get a half-off deal for one of the best hotels in the state." "That sounds wonderful. Having a stable job really does enrich your private life, doesn't it?"
"Exactly.
It's such a stark contrast to a certain someone we know."
They left me completely out of the conversation and laughed joyously together. I was sure they didn't even count me in their plans for the trip. Feeling isolated, I decided to retreat to my room. As I was leaving, Becky stopped me.
"Where do you think you're going? You should do something around the house for once." "She thinks just because she pays us rent, she can do whatever she wants. And I seriously doubt that money she gives us is even earned properly."
"I totally get you.
I mean, she calls herself a freelancer. How could sitting at home all day possibly be a job? She should try to experience a bit of life outside like I do," Becky added.
I am making money, even if it's just a little."
"I really wish she could speak more confidently, like you, Becky. By the way, Mom graduated from a design school, right?"
"Yes, she did."
"Despite my advice to go to college, she didn't listen. And now she's ended up jobless."
I'm a freelancer."
"What's the difference? Either way, you're just free to do whatever you want."
They said and laughed together again. "I'm going to my room."
"No, listen, did you even hear our conversation earlier? Help out around the house. First off, Mom, is there anything you need?" "Well then, taking your offer, shall we leave all the chores to Rhea today?" "That sounds good."
"All right, Rhea. Start with the laundry, then clean the bathroom."
"There's a shopping list in the living room, use it for grocery shopping. And while you're at it, prepare dinner."
I kept silent, unable to respond.
"Did you get that? At least respond."
"Yes." Oh, I had other work to do after this.
"Did you say something?"
"No, I'm sorry." Ignoring my feeble response, they continued their conversation.
Becky, I'm free now. Shall we go out and eat something delicious for a change?
Sounds good. They seemed to be heading out for a meal, nonchalantly leaving the housework to me.
But what about my dinner? Oh, goodness, are you serious? You should figure that out yourself. You really can't do anything on your own, can you? Maybe today will be a good chance for you to become a little more self-sufficient.
They sneered and ridiculed me. I stayed silent and they left the house. I, left behind, decided to just do as I was told. I hardly ever do household chores, but I managed to finish everything except cooking by referencing videos.
Oh, it's already this late. I have to go shopping soon and finish up my illustration.
It feels like it's been a while since I went outside. The fresh air tasted good.
It's completely different from inside the house.
I opened the map app on my smartphone and searched for a nearby supermarket. As I was walking along the road, a man passed by. Then, for some reason, he started following me.
Excuse me.
Suddenly, he tapped my shoulder and spoke.
Yes. Well, what can I do for you?
My voice unintentionally cracked. Embarrassing.
No, I just thought, you're beautiful.
A typical pickup line I've heard before. Am I being hit on?
I'm sorry, if you're trying to pick me up, please try someone else.
It was my first time being hit on and I was so nervous that I stuttered out a response.
No, it's not a pickup. I thought your facial features are beautiful. What? Actually, I'm a freelance stylist. I love coordinating everything from makeup to haircuts, and I'm pretty good at it. Until recently, I was working for Hollywood stars.
As he said this, he handed me his business card. On it was written, Freelance Stylist, Nick Kumar.
Why would someone as amazing as you talk to someone like me? Well, this might be embarrassing, but when we passed each other, I was struck by a thought. I might be rude, but I think you'll transform if I coordinate you. No, that's not possible. Won't you trust me a little?
I thought he was joking at first, but his eyes were serious. He seriously wants to style me.
Are you sure I'm the right person?
I asked again without confidence.
Of course. My fashion studio is right there. Can you come over now? It will only take about 30 minutes.
30 minutes. To be honest, I was scared to think about my mom and sister being home when I returned, but I didn't want to waste this opportunity, so I decided to accept.
Yes, I can manage that.
With that, we headed for his studio. The styling was really done in 30 minutes.
Just as I thought. You are really beautiful.
When I was handed a mirror and looked into it, I saw a stranger I didn't recognize. My eyes were accentuated and my nose appeared high. My hair was curled vertically, and most importantly, my entire face looked bright.
Wow! Right? You are the most impressive among recent models. You are really beautiful. Oh, but it's past 30 minutes now. You should head home.
In his excitement, he had started talking informally.
Thank you so much.
I bowed deeply. At that moment, my handmade business card fell out of my breast pocket.
This. Ria. So your name is Ria. Can I keep this? But the illustration isn't really well drawn. I draw as a hobby, hoping to someday make a living out of it.
As I explained, Nick was checking my business card with a serious gaze.
This is professional level. Wow, impressive. That's a skill I don't have.
Nick praised me sincerely. His words made me happy, and I gave him the business card. We chatted for a while after that. Before I knew it, another 30 minutes had passed and I was in a rush. We exchanged contact information and parted ways for the day. I started walking back towards the supermarket. When I finished shopping and got home, there was nobody home. Just as I was feeling relieved, I began to prepare dinner for my family, who could come home at any time, as instructed. I worked hard looking at a recipe online, but there was no sign of anyone coming home. Then the phone rang. Hello.
Where the heck have you been wandering off to?
Huh.
Huh is not an answer. We came home earlier and you weren't there.
Turns out my sister and mom had come home about an hour before I did. I'm sorry. I got held up shopping.
No. How many hours do you need to shop? You're really slow. Let me pass the phone to Mom. Ria, your laundry is all wrinkly. The bathroom isn't clean at all. You're not back from shopping. What can you even do?
I'm sorry.
I'm tired of your apologies. Show me some results.
I fell silent. My sister came back on the line.
We're not coming home today. I'm staying at a hotel with Mom. A hotel? I've made dinner.
I could hear their laughter. Don't make us laugh. We can't possibly eat what you cook.
The hotel we're staying at has a restaurant run by a famous chef.
You just eat your own cooking. Oh, and we almost forgot to mention.
Starting from next month, you need to contribute an extra $300 to the household expenses. It's stress money for dealing with you.
Bye. With that, they hung up the phone. I put in so much effort to cook. Ugh. I cried for the first time in a long while. As I was getting ready to eat, the notification light on my smartphone came on. The screen displayed Nick's name. Hello?
Oh, good. You picked up.
The call was about him asking me out. I, who had never dated a man before, thought it over and, after some hesitation, decided to accept his invitation. We continued our conversation over the phone, and before I knew it, I was voicing my complaints about my home.
That sounds terrible. It's not fair for you, Ria. Are you alone right now?
Yes, it seems like no one is coming home today.
I see. I'd like to talk to you in person. Can you come to the park nearby where we passed each other earlier today?
Yes, that's fine. And so, we met at the park. We continued our conversation about my family, and then the topic shifted to my work.
Do your family know you're a digital illustrator?
No, they don't.
I see. Would you show me some of your illustrations if you don't mind?
After a moment's hesitation, I showed him all the images I had saved. Nick looked at them intently.
Wow, these are amazing. Not just the creativity, but the quality is high as well. I've seen many illustrators during my time working in Hollywood, but none can match this.
His unexpected praise left me speechless for a moment. But I'm still a nobody. Totally unknown.
What? With this quality, you're unknown? How are you looking for jobs?
On Twister. I use hashtags and even put my face on the icon so people know it's me. Can I see it?
I see.
You should come to the studio right now.
Wah! What?
With that, he dragged me to the studio. There, I was suddenly done up with makeup and a hairdo, even made to change outfits. I'd only met this man today, yet I was dressed up twice by him.
Sit there.
I obeyed his instructions. And then, a bright flash, he took a photo of me.
Set this as your Twister icon. And write something like this.
Oh. Okay. I did as he told me, and when I closed the app, my phone rang. I'm sorry, excuse me for a moment. Hello.
Oh, Rhea? We're going on a 3-day, 2-night trip to Yellowstone from tomorrow. Wait a second. I haven't heard anything about this.
Ignoring my protest, she told me, well, that's the plan. Don't be late, and hung up on me. Are you okay? Yes. I relayed the content of the call to him.
I see. It's clear they're picking on you. It's obvious they're excluding you. Normally, they would tell you the destination and details, right?
Yes, they would. Nick pondered for a moment, then said,
That's it. I've got a great idea. Rhea, let's go to Florida on the first flight tomorrow morning.
Out of the blue, he came up with a wild idea.
Wah! What? To Florida?
Yes, Florida, Walt Disney World Resort. Because it's strange, isn't it? They're excluding you. So, let's go somewhere better and surprise them. Make your sisters jealous.
But all of a sudden, I don't have the money. You don't have to worry about money. Do you have your passport, though?
I do have a passport, but isn't traveling abroad expensive?
I told you before, I've been working in Hollywood, so I have plenty of money. I've been saving it without anything particular to spend it on. Do you want to go, Rhea? Or not?
Well, I do want to go.
Then it's settled. We're off to Florida tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, I noticed you're getting a ton of notifications on your phone. Is everything okay?
Huh? She saw a barrage of likes and new follower notifications on her Twister post. Among them were some job offers too.
What? What's this? Is my Twister post going viral?
Nick replied to her surprise.
Rhea, your illustrations are more valuable than anyone else's. You just didn't know how to brand yourself. With a little ingenuity, like now, everything just falls into place, right?
Amazing. With an idea I could never come up with, my followers had exceeded 1,000. And they were still increasing.
People are simple. If the visuals are good, they are attracted. Rhea, you have potential in both your looks and art, you just haven't noticed it. It's a waste not to use it.
No one had ever said such things to me before. Up until now, my life was filled with derogatory remarks about being a freelancer, being useless. But this man was different. I began to believe that thanks to him, I could change something.
Thank you so much. I've suddenly got a lot of work requests. I'll be busy.
Sure. For now, let's enjoy our trip to Florida from tomorrow.
Yes.
My clouded heart was clearing little by little, and before I knew it, I was looking forward to the sudden trip the next day. The next morning, we met at the park and headed to the airport. After a 3-hour flight from JFK, we arrived at Orlando International Airport.
Wow, this is amazing.
Excited about her first time taking the plane, and I was taking photos when my phone rang.
Hello. Hi, Dad. Where are you? We're going to depart soon.
It was a wrong call from Becky to their father.
Becky, it's me, Rhea.
Huh? Why would you answer? Wait, this is your number.
I'll hang up, okay? Why are you the one to hang up? You're so cheeky. I'm sorry. By the way, we've moved the trip to Yellowstone to tomorrow. We're staying at a 5-star hotel today. Mom was thrilled when I said I'd cover all the costs. She said it's different from her incapable sister.
I see.
Unlike you, freelancing or whatever, I actually work and earn my money. Well, just live your miserable life.
Bye. With that, she hung up laughing. Seeing me a bit down, Nick asked,
Rhea, would you like to work in America? What?
"This man sometimes says something extraordinary."
Ha, just as I thought you'd react. Actually, a friend from my Hollywood days is working on a CG animation and they're short of illustrators. I've introduced you and they really want you to join them.
I couldn't grasp the situation, but Nick continued to explain. "Rhea, your illustrations will be used in Hollywood. Plus, the pay is really good. They promised over $200,000 annually."
What? $200,000? And in Hollywood?
"Yes, Rhea, your worth has been acknowledged. You won't be treated as incapable in that house anymore. You, Rhea, who is not confined to just America, are recognized by the world." Hearing this, something inside me burst with shock. Before I knew it, I was apparently laughing with an innocent smile that was unprecedented for me.
I'd take that offer, thank you so much.
Nick said with a bashful smile. "Great, I'll let them know your answer is yes. But, that facial expression, it's not fair. You're incredibly cute." Watching Nick cringe with embarrassment, I found myself genuinely delighted. We took a taxi from the airport and arrived at the hotel that Nick had booked. The exterior clearly marked it as a luxury hotel. Its grandeur was breathtaking.
Wow, this is amazing. I thought we might as well splurge, so I booked the most expensive room.
Nick said with an innocent smile.
The most expensive? How much is it, by the way?
I cautiously asked.
Well, since I booked a suite, maybe it's around $20,000 per night?
He answered nonchalantly, but the price was far beyond my comprehension.
What? $20,000 per night? Yeah, why are you so surprised? Rhea, if you do your illustrator job in the US, you could easily afford to stay at places like this. You'll be handling Hollywood after all. I can't possibly. Why not? You're incredibly talented, Rhea. All you need is to believe in yourself. If you can just speak without hesitation or fear, you'll shine even brighter than you do now.
Nick's words carried a lot of weight. Inside the hotel was a dazzling world I had never seen before, with high ceilings and expensive monuments decorating every corner. The suite we were shown to was more than twice the size of my childhood home, complete with an indoor pool, hot springs, and a patio with a view of the city lights.
It's like a dream. It's not a dream. All of this is possible because of you, Rhea.
Initially, I thought Nick was a strange person, but he made me realize my worth more than anyone else. Even though we had only met a few days ago, for the first time, I found myself trusting someone. I thought I might be able to change. But then, my phone rang again.
Hello? Why aren't you here?
Becky said in her usual languid tone.
Where? At the Yellowstone, of course. Didn't I tell you we're going today? Everyone's here already.
She said with her typical sarcasm. It seems they had already arrived at Yellowstone.
I don't know where you were.
Oh, did I forget to tell you the location? My bad. I could hear Becky's feigned laughter.
I can't go if I don't know where it is.
Ha!
You're so forgettable, I totally slipped my mind.
Sorry about that. Oh, I've got an idea.
We'll just enjoy ourselves on your behalf.
Before, I might have been deeply hurt by each of these words. But thanks to Nick, that was no longer the case.
Sure, have fun.
Perhaps my response wasn't amusing to Becky, because she retorted.
Excuse me? Have fun? You wish you could be here. This is all happening because you're useless and broke.
Silent, I could only listen as Becky continued her tirade.
Yesterday's hotel cost $500 per night. You've never stayed anywhere that nice, have you? The dinner was delicious, and today we're going to the hot springs. There's an open-air bath. You'd be better off in your own bathtub at home, so it's good that you're not here. Honestly, if you're going to stay shut in your house all the time, what's the point of you even being alive?
Was she roaring with laughter? Becky's laughter must have been audible to Nick as well. And that's when I snapped. Her words that questioned my worth as a human being had struck a nerve. Because the person who helped me find that worth was right here with me. I couldn't bear hearing someone badmouth Nick, and it hurt. I decided then and there to be stronger. I unflinchingly retorted to my sister's comment.
That's a cheap hotel.
There was a slight pause at the unexpected reply. She apparently didn't think I'd argue back. As expected, my sister fought back.
Haha, what are you talking about? Have you lost your mind? A cheap hotel costs $500? And you, who can't earn a steady income, are saying that. Mom, listen to this. It's really funny.
With that, she called out to our mom, sneering, and I could hear my mom's voice from the phone.
Just because you can't beat your sister, it's obvious you're trying to show off. Your sister works hard as a flight attendant and is supporting us. It's something you'll never be able to do in your lifetime. After all, you don't even have a decent job. Dad, you should also say something.
She seemed to be trying to hand the phone to our father. My father was always busy and I have hardly any memories of talking to him since I was a child. And it got worse when I went to design school. We hadn't spoken a word since then. He probably just thinks of me as a disappointment. As expected, my father didn't come to the phone. Instead, my sister came back on the line.
You, come here right now. Oh, I forgot to tell you where. It's in Idaho. Without a porter, I won't be able to buy lots of souvenirs. So, I'll let you play that role. You're happy, right? You get to come to Yellowstone.
Against my condescending sister, I responded without reservation.
No way. Huh? What do you mean, no way? When I say come, you come. You're incompetent, so just do as you're told. Got it? Hurry up and come. Make sure you get here today, even if you have to dip into your savings. You know, Becky, when I think about it calmly, you're pretty stupid. What did you just say? I'm saying no because I can't. Because I'm in Florida right now.
She seems to be having trouble understanding because it's so abrupt. That's natural. And she retorted, sneering at me.
What are you talking about? There's no way you can go to Florida. You don't have any money. Oh, are you confusing it with the world of your video games? Are you okay?
Since she seemed not to believe me, I sent her a photo I took when I arrived at Florida.
I just sent you a picture.
There seems to be quite a stir on the other end of the international call.
Wait, Mom! Ria's saying something weird. And she even sent a picture. What is it? Listen carefully to what she says. This is definitely a stolen picture. I won't be fooled.
Since she still didn't believe me, this time I sent a selfie from the suite I was in.
Huh? What's going on, and who is this?
I could feel her getting increasingly flustered.
That's me. You're a completely different person. I can't believe you even edited your picture. It's so pathetic. I didn't edit anything.
For the first time, I laughed back at her in a mocking tone. She got annoyed and said,
Then explain. There's no way you could change like that. In a way, thanks to you and Mom. A guy on the street approached me and did a makeover. Turns out, he's a famous guy who's worked in Hollywood. Huh? What kind of fairy tale is that? That can't be true. It's so lame. If you're going to lie, at least make it a decent.
Before my sister could finish, Nick grabbed the phone from me.
Hello, I'm Nick. I'm currently in a suite with your sister, Rhea. Huh? Nick, you mean the Nick? The only foreign man who's a Hollywood star's stylist. No, you're kidding?
My sister, who was barking until a moment ago, suddenly fell silent. Until now, I didn't know that Nick was such a famous person. I took back the phone from Nick and said to my sister,
Do you get it now? I'm in a $20,000 a night hotel suite right now. That's why I said a $500 hotel is cheap.
The tables have completely turned now. But my sister, she started making excuses. It's her last-ditch effort.
Even if it was a suite, you just got lucky, didn't you? Yes, that's right. It was a fluke. If I had been shopping, I would have been the one approached.
I wonder about that.
Plus, I just found out that I'm making $200,000 a year now. Huh? $200,000? Wait a minute, what do you mean?
It's exactly as I said.
I'm earning $200,000 a year, and I'm going to be working in the US from today. As a Hollywood illustrator, no less. I had no idea about any of this. What's an illustrator? Aren't you just a shut-in freelancer?
Heh. That was yesterday. As of today, I've transformed into Rhea Kumar, a Hollywood illustrator earning $200,000 a year.
I'd bet I'm earning more than you now.
Oh, don't worry.
My language skill isn't better than yours.
You can rest easy about that.
You'll always be flying around domestically.
That's your job after all.
You're making fun of me. I'm just giving back what I received. You used to look down on me for being a freelancer. How does it feel to fly in the sky? I wonder if it feels liberating to be flying around.
Heh, in a way, aren't you a freelancer too?
Don't make fun of my job.
Okay.
But you always act like the one who earns more is superior, so if I make fun of you, it's only fair, right?
My sister was unable to retaliate and fell silent. I bid farewell to her in this state.
Well, that's how it is, sis. I won't be doing anything for you guys anymore.
Good luck. With that said sarcastically, I heard my sister's voice faintly.
Mom, I'm frustrated. That Rhea. I can't believe I lost to her.
It seems like my mom was at a loss for words too. Only a quiet atmosphere could be heard from the other end of the call. I didn't care about any of that and hung up the phone. Although it turned into a long call, Mr. Kumar, or Nick as he is known, waited patiently without saying anything. Then,
Rhea, you've completely changed in just these 2 days. Your aura, your personality, everything. You're shining now. Will you go out with me? And will you live with me here, in America?
It was the first time someone had confessed their love to me, but I had no doubts. I felt that if I stayed with him, my life would go well. Yes, I'd be delighted. I look forward to our future together. With a smile, I accepted his confession and we began dating in America. Overlooking the night view, tilting our champagne glasses, we toasted. There were messages on my phone from my mom and sister saying, "Let's start over," but I ignored them. From then on, both our work and private lives went smoothly, and a year later, we got married. I've gotten used to life in America, and I'm full of life now. It's all thanks to him. I vowed to do my best in life so as not to betray his expectations.